Yo, right here in the small box. Like, comment, share, subscribe, notify. You tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. Man, let's go ahead and lock in with this one. Let's get started. Well, talk to us, Phil. What's good?
Now, in this last video, I had broke down this week narrative, how there was no rap songs in the top 10, and blogs were trying to claim that the last person to be in the top 10 for a rap song was Drake with What Did I Miss? However, we all know that that is completely false. The last rap song to be in the top 10 was Luther. But they are trying to push this narrative that the rap game needs Drake. That's what they're trying to push. And it's because of him and the relationships that he has with other artists and how they're not able to produce as well as they used to. So they create these narratives and try to get people to think, oh, well, the game is down bad right now and it's not in good hands. And it actually needs Drake to better its ecosystem. But it's completely false, and it's only to feed their pockets, only to feed their ego. Really?
One thing I haven't said yet is that bringing Drake back in today's music climate will actually not work because Drake represents an old system that they're trying to bring back. They're trying to use what worked prior in 2024 before the beef in 2026, knowing that the landscape has completely changed. Drake is struggling to figure out what Iceman should sound like. I ain't seen nobody in the Instagram or Twitter comments talk about that. He is struggling to figure out what Iceman should sound like so that he can deliver the best album for his fans. Not one person I've seen talk about that yet.
Really think about what's going on here. Everybody is having a hard time selling. And it's not because Drake is not putting out any music. It's really because fans are starting to appreciate quality music and isn't going to settle for any of the weak stuff that these artists have been putting out. What Did I Miss only stayed in the top 10 for about a week and a half. It didn't stay in the top 10 at all for a long time, such as Luther. But another thing that made me think about this conversation was the fact that Akademiks have responded to this and is trying to say that the changing of the tide isn't what people wanted at all. But that is completely wrong, because what he's really trying to say is that the people that have been used to it for a certain way for so long are now starting to realize they are on the wrong side and they have to sit in the bed that they lay in. I'm talking about Drake and the people that he surrounds himself with, and how now those artists have to fend for themselves. I'm talking about the Young Thugs. I'm talking about the 21 Savages. I'm talking about the Yeats. Akademiks says that this shift has changed and how these rappers are complaining about it while he talks about this topic.
There hasn't been a hip hop song to chart for 9 months since Drake. No, I think there hasn't been a song that has charted for charted top 10 since Drake. You know, a lot of niggas was in denial, man. A lot of niggas was, niggas was acting like. I love when people celebrated like this idea of the turning of the tides and the changing of the guards. It's all good. I get it. As life goes and how things progress. Yeah.
You want to know something crazy? Does everybody want to know something super, super, super crazy about today's generation? And I don't think I've seen anybody on YouTube talk about this yet, and I just thought of it. This might be the craziest thing ever when it comes to the younger generation. So from what? So let's say, all right, I got to think about the kind of people that I be carding when I'm working security. So when we look at the dates and we look at like an 06, or we look at the lowest, which is 07, just before today though. So as long as it's 07 and it's before what day is it today? Like April 9th? April 9th going back up to January for 2007, that's how we're going to look at the date. Anything after 2007, you are not 19 yet. Wait. Anything after April 9th, 2026, you are not 19 yet, right? You cannot get in. Move. 2007, 2006, 2005, and let's cut it off at 2005, right? The reason why I'm bringing these up is because that's about what? That's about 3 to 5 years to 2010. So in that time period, a lot of kids today, especially with the lack of memory that a lot of people be having nowadays, they're not going to remember a lot of things from their past, right? The reason why I bring this up is because from 2010s to 2026, that's 16 years. The music has not changed. Remember when I talked about music changes every 10 years? And now we're in the 2010 to 2026 era, and music hasn't changed like that. Everybody's going back to 2016 because that's when music was allegedly at its best. Nobody's going further past that because they don't know about that old shit. Do you find that interesting that the younger generation is stuck in one era? Meanwhile, I've been in about 3 eras. And then you look at music today and you look at the younger consumers out there consuming the music. Do you see how interesting that is? Do you see how interesting that fact is? They've only been in one era. I've been in 3. And I've listened to an extra era on top of that. So technically 4. 4 different decades of music that I've listened to. Maybe 5, to be honest. Because I can go back to the 70s or the 80s. I can go back to the 60s. All these different eras of music. That's a multitude of different kinds of quality music that I've experienced. And they've only experienced one.
Yes. You know, people, there's always going to be a new guy. There's always going to be a contender that might have a lucky year or whatever. My thing is, why don't nobody have no expectations of these niggas? How come nobody's making a correlation? At the time when they said that Kendrick is the most hottest rapper in the world, rap game never been more dead.
Now, this is completely false, and we all know why. There has been a lot of great music that has already came out. We talked about Baby Keem. Isaiah Rashad's going to put out a new album. The Clips had made an album that won them a Grammy. J. Cole put out an album.
Yo, J-Tom, not too much, gang.
J-Rock is going to drop an album also. Earl Sweatshirt just put out a project. Wale put out a project. But they're not the only ones. There's also a lot of people that
J-Tom, the legal age is 19.
That made music with Drake that put out music too. 21 Savage put out a whole ass album with Drake on it. Young Thug put out a whole album as soon as he got released from prison. Yeet just put out a fucking album also. And how is the game boring? How? When the same people that rock with Drake are still putting out music. Just because it underperformed or it didn't do as well as you expected? I'm not understanding what I'm missing here. But then he starts talking about the changing of the tide. And that's when I started to realize they're upset because the fans can't be manipulated like they used to. And that they don't really appreciate the garbage that they've been giving them for years.
Like, how come we can't have no qualitative conversations about it? I would like to talk about it. Nobody want to talk about that, huh? I'm telling you, I talk to artists all the time. They name them. They'll be like, yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie, ever since that Kendrick shit, nigga. Like, straight up, they just say it. Ever since that Kendrick shit, man, like, man, the fans, it's like the fans even got like on some politics shit. It's like weird. I don't know what it is, but
it's not politics. You can't pacify them no more. I make music that electrify them. You make music that pacify them. That goes for all of the other Drake handlers also. All of the other guys that did music with him. When the tide changed, it left them too. They got stuck on the losing side. And now they got to sit with the bet that they laid in. That's what it is, bruh. But it's not only that. It's because they don't want to put out good music. Look at the Young Thug album that he put out. Nobody was rocking with that at all. Nobody. It did horrible. The Yeet album that recently came out did horrible also. 21 Savage's album, it came out, did horrible also. And I'm saying horrible as in it didn't sell or didn't reach expectations that everybody thought that they would reach. And the fact that they blamed the battle as a scapegoat is completely ridiculous. How is it Kendrick's fault for winning a battle that you didn't participate in? Yeah, someone that you're affiliated with lost, but at the end of the day, it depends on you to put out good music. And then they try to go and blame the fans and say that they're politicking. But in reality, they just can't be easily swayed like they used to. The audience can't be manipulated or pacified like they used to. And you could say that it probably is because Kendrick woke them up, but you can't rely on the same cheap tricks that you've been relying on to try to sell records.
I don't blame it completely. Damn.
So for everybody to come out and talk about Kendrick did this, Kendrick did that, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm looking at articles talking about how vinyl made another $1 billion in 19 consecutive years. I'm looking at articles where the younger generation is going out and buying physical media. Meanwhile, all these streamer rappers out here, these StreamYard rappers, all right? Not literal StreamYard, but a yard full of streamers. Like, y'all just chilling, kick up, and y'all listen to my music. Go look at it on Spotify, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I drop a new project, you know. Hope y'all like that shit. Like, y'all just go stream that real quick. It's called I Don't Fuck With Life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I got about like 25 songs on that. So, like, you know, like, that's more than enough songs for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I made sure to provide a lot of music for y'all motherfuckers out there, you know? So go stream my shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then you go stream the shit, and it's 25 songs worth of bullshit. And you ain't got no hoodie to sell. You ain't got no CDs to sell. You ain't got no vinyls to go along with it. And you're going to sit there and wonder why is everybody just so shit right now? Like, the music industry is so trash. Nigga, where's the effort? Where's the effort? If you got kids as young as 16 buying vinyls, that should say something in your head. Maybe I should try something different. What are you doing?
I blame it completely on Kendrick, but the game is kind of whack right now.
So now he don't want to blame Kendrick. Now he don't want to blame Kendrick because he knows, bro, it's not his fault. It's because these guys ain't putting out hits. They ain't putting out hits, and they just want to blame somebody, so they blame Kendrick. And then they want people to think that the game needs Drake because in their mind, if the people think that, and if they believe that the game needs Drake, then by proximity, because I'm an affiliate of yours and because we do collaborations, then you could save my career also. If we make the public believe that hip hop needs you, then I could tag along and be saved also. But they can't piggyback off of Drake no more because Drake can't even save himself. Like I said in the last video, how is Drake going to save his friend's career when he barely has to figure out what to do with his own?
We're only waiting for one album.
No, we're not.
And actually, you know, I talked to people, they were like, yo, bro, now is the moment. You know what would make hip hop nice right now? Honestly, this would make hip hop nice right now. Yo,
for all the people that be standing, that Akademiks be standing beside. Akademiks be standing beside a lot of people that be promoting gambling platforms. Regardless if it's Stake, Bet365, whatever. Akademiks be standing beside a lot of people that be promoting gambling platforms. For you to only put all your chips on one thing, and then you're gonna like that's stupid. You're gonna put all your money on this one thing to be successful. That's a hell of a gamble. That's a hell of a gamble. And what if that fails? And mind you, with the landscape right now in music, there's a high possibility that they could be successful because this year, it's looking interesting for the rap game right now. Because 2025 was phenomenal. A boatload of runs that we've witnessed. But we're waiting to get into the second quarter. Right? The first quarter of the year in the winter, it's a slow buildup right now. Did we get a lot of projects? Yes. It's still a slow buildup right now. We just hit spring. We're going to get a boatload of artists dropping music going from spring going into the summer. All right, you got to remember, in the music industry, it's cut down by seasons, but they don't name it seasons. They name it quarters. They cut it down in quarters, right? These quarters are what dictate what music you're going to get. Winter, fall, winter, you're going to get some good tracks. You're going to get some good vibes, to be specific. Spring, summer, you're going to get bangers, strictly hits. That's what we're waiting for right now. That's what everybody's sitting around waiting. But like I said in prior videos, if you want to drop something for the summer, springtime is to drop. If Iceman doesn't come out in the spring, what the hell is going to happen in the summer? That's my question.
Kendrick's supposed to be going to go find, and not only Kendrick, like Drake too, but y'all done shamed him for running to Atlanta and all this shit, so he don't want to collab with nobody now. So that nigga just like in Toronto just chilling.
So now he's openly admitted that Drake doesn't even want to collab with the people from Atlanta because how it's going to be perceived after the battle. Well, that's Drake's fault. So are they blaming the battle because Kendrick exposed that and now Drake is insecure and doesn't want to do records with them? That sounds like Drake's fault. You can't blame the battle for that if he doesn't want to work with y'all. Did he hurt his ego that bad that he doesn't want to work with his collaborator?
But what a nigga like Kendrick need to do, like, and there's always an artist like this. He's supposed to go grab the new YNs, you know what I mean? Go do songs with them, the new lyricists. Get this shit hot for the summer, man, because...
Oh, my God. I mean, he already did that with GNX. What more do you want? Get new artists that people hardly heard of or weren't familiar with and put them on an album, and then they do really well. Look, bro, and that's the thing. We've been enjoying all of this.
Honestly, when it comes to Kendrick, I'm not going to look at the past anymore. I'm looking towards the future of the possibilities of what the music could be. That's where I'm going right now. The past is the past. What he did with GNX, he did what he needed to do. All right? With what we've gotten, with the literal sneak disses that we've gotten from GNX, we've been fed good. Pause. All right? But we've had GNX for about, like, what? About a year and a half now. Well, no, a year and a half because that came out November 2024. So I can happily say a year and a half. Right? He got the Grammys. He got another 5. All right? He has the most Grammys, period. You know? So I want to know what that next album going to sound like. What kind of sound is he going to tap into? That's the real question for me. Every time we get a Kendrick project, it's a new sound. What's that new sound going to be on that new project? And how is the rollout going to look like? Now, keep in mind, GNX never got a rollout. He threw it out there. But is he going to do the same thing again? Or does he actually have to drop a date? That's my question. We'll see. But my curiosity is piqued.
That's the funny part, right? We've been enjoying the people that have been working with Kendrick Lamar, and it looks like we're in the party on the inside, and they're just watching from the outside because they refuse to acknowledge or refuse to step over here. They want to stay over there on that side. They want to stay over there where the losers are at, where Drake is at, because of the loyalty that they have to that man. But at the same time, that is tarnishing their career. And they rely on him so much that their music starts to suck without him. And you know these guys need him because it's the same reason why Young Thug was getting mad on the call. Remember on those jail calls, he said, Kendrick don't want to do a feature with me. He don't want to do it. And then he starts praising Drake because Drake will. That's why 21 Savage couldn't put this album out unless Drake was on it. I'm telling you, bro, they can't even think about how life is going to be without using Drake to go to that #1 spot, without getting that bag. That stimulus package doesn't exist no more. Drake has to struggle how to figure out how to make it on his own by himself. So how is he going to help you when he's still trying to figure shit out after his loss?
Somebody made a good point, and I actually seen it. The game is very interesting right now. Like, it's kind of like almost like it's going back underground or going back niche.
That's what I've been saying, and that's where it needs to stay at. We don't need to be on the charts, bro. Hip-hop is better when it's at the underground. Hip-hop has always been underground. That's where it's always been at, and that's where we need to go back. We need to take it to the roots, bro.
What I think is actually happening is a lot of artists that are, you know, up-and-coming artists, they're not getting those looks to become mainstream. So, like, everybody's just kind of like, they're kind of looking at Playboi Carti, they're looking at YoungBoy, and they're like, you know what? Well, those artists kind of blew up, and they blew up with their niche audience and became mainstream, so let's not even bother doing some of the mainstream stuff. But I think that that's not everybody's path. Like, I do think we still need the big artist to hop on the young artist song that's popping, or the big artist that sees the young artist that's doing their thing. And
it's the fact that he's trying to say that they need somebody to acknowledge a younger up-and-coming artist without them just trying to find them on their own. You know you can find artists on your own, right? You know you don't have to wait for Drake to work with somebody to acknowledge that they exist or to appreciate the music that they put out. Like, what the hell is wrong with these guys, bro? They need Drake to be on the song with somebody just for them to recognize them. It only seems like they only listen to Drake. Like, at this point, it's just hilarious to me because they just try to act like, oh, yeah, we need somebody to work with this guy so we can listen to this. No, bro, you just want to listen to him if Drake acknowledges him. You're just a Drake fan, and you're only there for the Drake feature. You don't even care about the artist. You're probably just going to think that they're cool because Drake did a song with them, but you don't give a fuck about them. You go wherever this guy goes. And now you're on the other side looking in, bro. You're on the loser side.
And also, here's the thing, too. The niggas who we're most focused on, they don't even drop music frequently. That's the thing about the Kendrick shit, right? It's like, how is this nigga the leader of whatever it is? This nigga don't want to drop no music. At least drop music like twice a year, like drop a freestyle, drop this, drop that.
So now they want Kendrick to drop. Now they want Kendrick to drop because you know why? They know what's going on. They know that Kendrick has control. Kendrick has control, no pun intended. But they know that he got control, man. They know exactly what is happening. The tide has changed. And the people that were at the top are no longer at the top anymore. And the people that were using Drake to survive.
Hey, Shanice, what you just said was a super valid point. Instead of announcing it, utilize your name in different spaces to get your name popping. And then drop an album. It's smart. I'm not going to lie. It's smart marketing. You know? And like you're getting paid while at the same time doing all this.
They can't survive off him anymore. Drake has to survive on his own. And he has to drop all of the dead weight so that way he could try to carry himself out of this wreckage. That's what it looks like to me, man. They want Drake to win so bad because they think that it'll get them out of a drought. They want to push this narrative about rap needing to be saved by him because they need to get out of a drought. And they want people to think that way, but it's not how it's going to go down. Rap is going to its original form. It is going back underground. And the only music that people are going to appreciate is quality music. The tide has changed for the better. And I think hip hop does need to stay underground. The only reason why they're not happy is because things ain't going their way. Nobody cares about the charts. But y'all tell me how you feel about this and get back to me and let me know in the comments, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace. Keep it.
Here's the thing now with hip hop being underground. The reason why I agree with that statement is because when hip hop is underground, you cannot control it. The only thing that you're going to struggle with is revenue for music, right? But the community support that comes with hip hop, you're going to get paid for sure. But that's going to fluctuate over the years. That's the one thing about it. Now, with labels now, like I said, when you want your music on the chart, it's a losing battle. They need you there to make other genres look better. That's what they're doing with hip hop. That's why K-pop, country, pop genres are good right now. Because off of the back of hip hop, they're making these other genres look outstanding, which is also fading out hip hop, but you want hip hop back in the conversation. That's another trick that they do over there on the chart. Using different genres to make other genres look outstanding. That's why K-pop looks amazing to a lot of people across the world. And K-pop is moving just like pop. It's just attached to Korean music. It's attached to music out there in Asia. Right? That's how you get it popping over there. And mind you, K-pop is using the Motown method to build artists, where they're actually training and developing artists to be S tier, so that when you see them drop music, it's like they always been S tier, but that's how long they've been training. With rap, you don't get that. So for rap to be on the chart, you need undeniable artists to actually give these other genres a challenge. If that doesn't happen, rap is going to look crazy. And then they're going to put out these little articles talking about, oh, rap hasn't been in the top 40 for how long? Or rap hasn't been in the top 10 for how long? Cool. You can keep that, knowing that you're bending the rules to make this genre look miniature compared to other genres around the world, thereby creating a narrative that rap is low and these new genres out here, well, not new genres, but these genres out here are hot. That's why you want rap on the charts. When you have a Kendrick, everybody's competing with this one person. Because when Kendrick's on the chart, he's taking up slots. He's not just charting, he's taking up slots. That's what Kendrick do with every project he put out. He's taking up slots. Rap needs to be underground for the people that are still developing themselves. When you are S tier, then you can show the world what's good. That's how you should do it. I agree with DeVille. Girl, me too. It's not even about being underground. It's treated like the 2000s when we didn't give a F. But unfortunately, with these other genres that we have out here competing with rap, it's never going to be like the 2000s anymore. As much as I want it to be like that. I'm a 90s baby that grew up in the 2000s, all right? Growing up in the 2000s, witnessing the industry, witnessing all these different kinds of rap, all charting, all just presented to the world equally. All different kinds of rap everybody was listening to, all different kinds of R&B everybody was listening to. It was peace. The 2000s was an elite year or elite era for music, I should say. They don't want that business model no more because there is no money in it. That was the flaw in the 2000s. They got everything right except the marketing. Once they had the marketers come in, they took over everything. That's why music today in 2026 is like this. They came over, took over. They made all this money. They made all this revenue from the music that they've put out in their era, which is the 2010s. And then anybody that was around in the 2000s, they kicked out the industry and only brought in people that would only look at the numbers to dictate who's who and what they can do and where they should be. That's what they did. That's the exact plan they put together to get people out of here. Oh, you made this. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. This was a good song. But how much did it do? Oh, it didn't do that much. Oh, that's crazy. But that song was good, though. But I'm going to need you to hand in your things, man. We're going to have to let you go. And then brought in Michael and Kyle to develop some sort of algorithm so that you can start looking at the numbers off of these songs. That's the play. Man, that's the play. That's what they did, man. Over here at the Flex My Network, I'm showing y'all wow, words are hard. I'm showing y'all what they doing. That's it. That's all they doing. All you gotta do, just open up your ears, take in the info. Cause it's gonna help you with your conversations. The things I'm providing for you is gonna help you with the conversations that y'all have in the future. So you gotta open up your ears a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Trust me.